This is Jay Martin.
So a battle on two fronts. Like when I hear you talking about this, I think, yeah, this is a war on two fronts. We have the external war where we're protecting the influence and appeal of the US dollar, which we need to protect to keep treasuries in play. But then internally, there's some things that could occur that would make that lever suddenly really important. Some kind of a 2008 crisis. What could that be, right? If you look at I think you mentioned commercial real estate. Maybe that's the vulnerable moment right now. I think corporate debt to GDP in the US is like 130% right now, far higher than it was in 2008. And the vulnerable parts of that debt are mainly real estate, holding commercial loans. Consumer sentiment is plummeting to the lowest level in 13 years. There's a handful of like fracture points in the internal economy. And it's always hard to pinpoint which one's the most vulnerable. But if one breaks, there's always a domino effect because everybody starts to tighten up in response to a bit of uncertainty. And that's the domino effect. And so internally, Taylor, does anything strike you as like, yeah, these are the fracture lines that we need to watch? Because if one of those breaks, the domino effect from that would create such a fallout that we need that treasury lever, and we don't know if it works anymore. Internally, does anything stand out?
Absolutely. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. Something that's different is in 2008, what's the first thing people think of? Subprime mortgage crisis, right? That was the catalyst. What is the catalyst today? It could be any number of things, right? You just listed off quite a few. And I think that's what's so concerning today is not only do we have more leverage built on a shakier foundation of more debt at this really precarious time, but now we have a variety of catalysts that it could come from, maybe multiple at once. Maybe one triggers another one and we have an even more severe domino effect. It could be any of the number of things you talked about. I'm also watching private equity is another huge one. That kind of goes into that corporate debt as well. I think what's different today too is that we have this whole kind of shadow banking sector going on, whether it's, it's hedge funds, whether it's money mutual funds, whether it's private equity. It's a different landscape today than it was in 2008. This area was always there, but it has exploded in recent years. And there's a lot less regulation and there's a lot less visibility into what's going on in terms of the leverage and risk that's being built. So it could be any number of these things that could be the catalyst, right? I mean, what we saw the last couple of weeks with the hedge fund basis trade, essentially capitalizing on a small price difference between cash bonds or bond sale price versus future price. I mean, that itself, people were saying could have brought down the market, right? There was a liquidity freeze that we were inches away from. I think something that's different this time too is the Fed is a lot more tuned in now, right? Last time they waited until there was the freeze and then they had to act and everyone knew about it. This time, again, they've gotten smarter. They've gotten wiser. They are monitoring everything and they are trying their best to make sure that nothing freezes, nothing seizes in the system. But a bailout, call it whatever you want, sixpence in one hand and half a dozen in the other. You know, if you're injecting cash that you created out of thin air into these entities that are gambling recklessly, well, it's the same thing in my opinion. It has the same effect.
Okay. So I want to walk through some of the global considerations and just to maybe summarize from a domestic standpoint, right? We're seeing consumer comfort plummet to lower levels than we've seen in over a decade. Debt to GDP at 130%. It was 56% in 2008 just by comparison. And so many of the debt to capital ratios to important industries like energy, very, very high right now. Real estate's like 50%, which is kind of industry average, but the debt's not very healthy, right? And it just takes a few more consumers to be a bit more cautious, buy a few less goods, and those commercial real estate loans become a lot more vulnerable very quickly because nobody's expanding anymore. Everybody's contracting, right? A few of these loans begin to default. The banks start to ratchet up either rates or just lending restrictions, and that becomes a systemic risk. That's happened many, many times before in different ways. So there's nothing new about that. That's the short-term cycle. But what is new is that this time we may not have that lever. So we've talked about that. I want to focus on the lever now.
Okay.
So thinking outside US, Ray Dalio published an article last week and it effectively said, we can pivot, we can change course, but the damage has already been done from an American sentiment standpoint globally. And he was referring to trade partnerships and the appeal of the US dollar. He said, countries have already taken notice. We can no longer rely on this partner like we used to be able to. So whether or not they pull back tariffs or don't, we have to change course and protect our best interest. And it sounds to me that you're very aligned with that. There's a course change that's occurring from the major buyers, international buyers of U.S. treasuries. And that course change is going to continue to broaden, open up, and track away from the U.S. dollar, correct?
Absolutely. Definitely. I mean, I think, again, it's everything you just said. Why wouldn't they be exploring a new course if they can't trust the United States? They are going to be looking out for themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that inherently, right? Wanting to make sure that you're protecting yourself. I don't blame any of these countries for pursuing an alternative option. And again, I think there's this big misconception. People always say, well, that doesn't make any sense. Aren't they already holding all this U.S. debt, all these treasuries when it hurt them, right? If something happened in the United States? Yeah, that's true. That's why you're not seeing a mass sell-off again overnight. But what you are seeing is a slow reduction in foreign holdings, right? You are seeing that slowly happen little by little. And then you're also seeing a move into gold or commodities, right? Things where there's trust. Because I think what really has happened, you hit the nail on the head again. I know I just said that, but trust has been broken globally, not just with the United States, but with the dollar, with the current system that we're in. So whatever the new system is going to be, there has to be some level of trust built into it. How are you going to get that? You're not going to get it from a fiat currency. The fiat currency experiment has failed, right? Time and time and time again. Every time fiat currency, it always fails. And we're seeing it again. This time, I mean, the dollar's days, not to be, use too much hyperbole here, but the dollar's days are numbered, right? It is coming to an end and we all can feel it. And it's accelerating now at a faster pace. And I think that's why so many more people are talking about it and understanding it, because you can no longer stick your head in the sand and pretend this isn't happening.
Most investors think they're playing it safe, following mainstream advice, chasing trends, and clinging to the herd mentality. But there is nothing safe about mainstream advice. The smartest investors know that real wins come from thinking independently and spotting opportunities long before the crowd. And that's what we teach at the Commodity University. This is an exclusive membership designed to arm you with the skills from the sharpest minds in the mining investment world. Each of our professionals has a proven track record of finding trends before anyone else. At the Commodity University, you'll gain access to a highly curated and growing catalog of courses covering what you actually need to know to become an informed commodity investor. Every single month, you'll receive a brand new course packed with insights from the best in the business, giving you the edge to stay ahead. If you're tired of following the crowd and ready to invest smarter, think sharper, and understand the mining industry like the professionals, then take the next step and join the Commodity University today.